How do humans seek certainty in an uncertain world? Not knowing what the future holds can be deeply unsettling for many of us. A vision helps to alleviate that stress by providing a clear direction in terms of where we are going in the future. In this video, we're going to learn about how to create not just any vision. We're going to be looking at how we can create a great vision for your scaled agile PI planning event. So stay tuned till the end. If you want to learn about how to scale agile or how to digitally transform your organization, please consider subscribing to this channel, where we will talk about real world tips and insights on how to scale your organization. Have you ever been on a delivery program where individuals are continuously working? It feels like they're working in a loop, on an endless grind, sprint after sprint, iteration after iteration, but they're not clear on what the end game is or what the ultimate vision is, right? It's almost like a hamster on a wheel. Some years ago, I remember working for a large publishing company, and many teams were working together. They had a continuous backlog of items, each individual working really hard, but because the vision wasn't that clear, it just seemed like people were just doing sprint after sprint, and the reporting and the governance and everything was focusing so much on the activity rather than the outcome. And what a vision helps us to do, it helps us to articulate what does the end state look like and what does the outcome actually look like. But it doesn't tell us how we're going to get there. Additionally, how do you know when you reach your destination if you haven't got a clear vision? One of the things that I really loved when I learned about PI planning many years ago was the idea of giving this vision and the articulation of this vision a space right at the beginning of your PI planning event. Now, this is powerful from a number of reasons. Firstly, because not only do we have a space to articulate the vision, but we've got an ability to be able to do that at every program increment planning. And we're going to explore why that is really important in this video as well. I want to give you 6 tips for creating a clear vision and using it to support you during PI planning, and also not just during PI planning, but also during your PI execution. So you end up in a situation where your vision acts as a clarifying guide so that everyone is pointing in the same direction, and equally, if somebody's veering off course, it's clear for everybody and they can help to support them and bring them back into the right direction, so they're all pulling in the same direction. So tip number 1 is start with the customer in mind, not the technology. It's really important to make sure that when we think about what the actual vision is, we're not articulating that with the technology bias, but really with the end user and the end customer in mind. So let's just say you're a supermarket, okay? Who are your different types of customers, and who are the bulk of your customers and your users, right? So what does that actually look like? What are their needs, right? So if we've got, for example, a young family, or we've got a pensioner, or we've got a single parent, or we've got a young adult or a student, each of these individuals and personas or customer types may have different pain points, different needs and different requirements, okay? So we need to clarify what is it, who are our customers, what are their pain points, what are the challenges that they face, and how are we going to solve each of their different problems. Now, Henry Ford, as an example, when he started to articulate his vision wasn't based on technology. It was about providing a mobility, a means of transport for the masses. In the early part of the 20th century, only the richest people could afford their own cars and automobiles. And what Henry Ford's vision was to be able to bring this incredible technology to to the masses, and so that most people, a larger section of society, could now start to benefit from this increased mobility. But it was his vision, and he was able to articulate it and galvanize not just his organization, but a lot of society to actually support his cause, because he was able to articulate it in a way which meant and resonated with the actual end customer as well. So when we're looking at if you look at the kind of projects and programs that we have today, when we are looking at articulating it, we wouldn't, for example, want to be talking about how we want to move our organization from an on-premise to a cloud, for example. Rather, what we want to talk about is who are the beneficiaries if in such a scenario, right? How is that going to help our customers? What kind of services or experiences are going to open up from us moving, as an example, our organization from on-premise installs onto the cloud? How is that going to benefit our customers, and what kind of use cases and scenarios are going to be opened up to our key customers? Okay, so the key takeaway from tip number 1 is don't focus on the technology, focus on the benefit that the technology will be giving. Okay. Tip number 2 is about painting a vision for the future, right? On a personal level, when it comes to creating a vision, one of the things that we want to be able to do is we want to see ourselves in our mind's eye achieving that outcome. So frequently it's scary, and it takes some courage for us to be able to do that, because there's always a risk of us not being able to achieve that vision. Now, when it comes to a corporate vision, it's no different. In fact, it's even more important, because not only do we need to sell this vision to ourselves, we now also need to sell our vision to our entire organization or to our entire program as well. So we need to make sure that we've got this clear vision that we are able to paint for everybody, so people can get excited about it and they can move behind it. And also what we want is we want to be able to get people to be working not only in the same direction, but we also want them to be able to be motivated and inspired by that vision as well. The key takeaway for this point is that if you can't see it, it's not a vision. Tip number 3, keep it simple and easy to remember. What are the top 2 or 3 things that you want people to remember about your product, service, or solution? Right? If we think back to the iPod, 3 or 4 very simple features that we had for the iPod that we can remember. Okay, 1,000 songs, fits in your pocket. You've got simple finger gesture to actually move the scroll wheel so you can scroll through your songs. Very simple and straightforward benefits that we can recall to this day, right? Remember, these are the benefits, not the technology. So we're not talking about megabits and megabytes and miniaturization. What we are talking about is how does that translate to real benefits for our customers. Okay, so the key takeaway for this is keep your vision simple and easy to remember. Point number 4, we want to clarify your why. Back in 2006, I received a call from a large oil company to help them to deliver one of their pension programs. And the team was really struggling at that time. And when I went and I started to work with the team, one of the things that I understood is that for them it was not motivation at all. It was just another large system that they had to get up through every day, and they had to go and deliver that. Now, one of the challenges with that is that's hardly going to motivate people to get out of bed, right? So it wasn't until we actually started to reframe the way the team looked at the work that we're doing and the importance that we're doing and the impact of what we were doing on the end customer. The end user was the pensioners that had spent their entire lives dedicated to this company, and if we didn't deliver this product on time, then their livelihood and that of their families would be affected. Now, when we provide that kind of compelling reframe to the team, you found the team now had a new sense of motivation and willingness to put in the effort to actually make sure that we deliver on time. Why? Because we're not just building a large system which has got some arbitrary deadline. They're real human beings that are impacted by our delivery, and so it's really important to try to create a compelling why, because that is the motivation that many of us actually need. So the key takeaway for tip number 4 is your why matters. Tip number 5, dream big. As individuals, we have more capabilities and potential than most of us can imagine, right? But as an organization, that holds true as well. When we have a look at the talents and the capabilities and the opportunities that we have and the ability to learn and the creativity that we have as an organization, these are our hidden talents as well. Okay, so it's really important that we don't set the bar too low. Obviously, if we set the bar too low, it's highly unlikely that we're going to reach above the bar that's set for us. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we don't limit our abilities, and we make sure that we have that big dream. So the key takeaway over here is a small vision limits potential. Okay, and tip number 6, think of it as a bonus tip, as we need to keep our vision alive. What do I mean by that? As I indicated right in the beginning of the video, one of the great things we have about PI planning is we have this recurring event where your entire Agile Release Train, your entire program of up to 125 or even 150 larger programs also come together, right? Come together every 8 to 12 weeks, and you've got this opportunity to revisit your vision, and you can do it again and again and again. It's not enough to actually just articulate your vision and your why just once. We shouldn't expect people to just pick it up immediately and remember it, right? We've got so much noise that's continuously coming towards us. We've got to remind everybody of why we are doing things, especially when the going gets tough. We need to be able to recall and remind each other that, hey, guys and gals, this is why we are doing it. This is the importance of what it is, and this is why we should continue at this journey, and this is why it matters as well. So the key takeaway over here is that basically don't expect a single iteration for your vision. You need to keep it alive through regular communication to your program and to your teams as well. Okay, final question for the day is how clear is your current vision on your program? What suggestions do you have to improve? Let me know your ideas in the comments below. Also, if you've got any questions, just ping me below and I'll do my best to answer them as well. Having said that, if this video was good for you, I have another video for you which is around the 5 keys for measuring scaled agile success. So you should be able to click the video over here. And if you've it's a great video on how to measure your success once you've clarified your vision. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel by clicking the bell icon over here. And thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.